Alright, this is probably the 18th time I've tried to do a preface here. I'm just gonna get to the meat and potatoes of it. Um, a lot of the content of this video is probably not original ideas. I've watched a lot of videos about Minecraft and where it should be and where it used to be and what was good and what was bad and what people liked, what needs improving, what needs to be cut from the game, yada yada yada. Anyway, so I'd just like to say a lot of the content, a lot of the stuff I say is probably not an original idea. In fact, you should assume that none of it is an original idea. But I very haphazardly tried to like mush it together in a sort of like not very well put together rant. But I've been thinking about it too long, and I just want to put something out that kind of gives a rough idea of kind of where my head's at about this game. Because like, I love it to death, and um, yeah, I don't know. I can't keep talking to my work colleagues about it. I can't keep going off at people the moment we start talking about Minecraft, and I sort of go into like this weird nostalgia rant thing about it, and like the direction I think it should go in, and like the history of it, and just um. Anyway, so assume nothing is actually an original thought, um, and hopefully just try and enjoy it. And if you've got any thoughts of your own on the stuff I've said, um, which again, not very well put together, but I got to put it out there, man. I've tried writing it out long form and planned, but I don't have the attention span for it. As you can see, by the way, I'm just zooming around. It's not my nature, and that's pretty lazy of me, yes, but I want to talk to people about this, and yeah. So let me know what you think in the comments, please, because of all the reasons I just stated. Okay, I think I've talked enough. Here's the main video, guys. Hope you enjoy. Alright, so this server is modern beta. It's really cool. It kind of gives it the textures are the old textures. The feel it has is it's got that old feel, that beta feel, you know. Uh, you're not allowed to sprint. It's got some plugins to like reel it in, you know. Um, it's really cool, man. And yeah, there's a reason that I'm in this world. Not only is it cool, and I'd like to show you, you know, it's also kind of matches up with the theme of this video. Now, I haven't really made one of these properly in a good while, but I, I'd like to go in a bit blind and just see where it takes me. Um, but with some kind of theme, you know. So I'd like to start by saying I I thoroughly enjoy modern Minecraft. I think where it's at, especially with the modding community, it's just in like a really pretty cool place, you know. There's just a lot of new stuff, and I don't know, it's definitely beyond the imagination of my younger self and everything that the game would turn into, you know. Um, that being said, there are some gripes that I have with the new version. Now, if you don't like someone complaining about video games, like I'll be doing a little bit of a world tour so you can switch off the audio and just enjoy me running around, but well, not running because I can't on here, but you know what I mean. Um, but this is maybe a little bit of a rant video, so fair warning. If you're pretty passionate about earlier versions of Minecraft, then it might be right up your alley. But anyway, let's get into it. Um, one of the biggest problems I have with modern Minecraft is just it feels very, very full, you know? And not in the way that this is full, you know? That people have come and they've made stuff and it's original and it kind of has a good, has good vibes, human vibes, you know? Um, it's all artificial, the new versions. It's you go into a world and within about 4 minutes you could usually find a village. get some kind of gear, maybe even like iron or some diamonds if you're lucky, you know. Um, Pretty much right off the bat, there's no need to like hit the tree anymore. Not really. Um, you don't have to get down to a certain level before you start hitting iron, or maybe you get unlucky and you have to stick with stone for a while. It's kind of you skip a lot of steps, you know. Now you could generally skip them pretty quickly, but you skip them too quickly now, I think. And the fact that you can find a village, straight away, it uh it kind of I think the issue it's not a village filled with players, you know. Now that's going to come along with, you know, just a it's there for a use. I'm glitching out a bit. I'm not gonna lie. My exact thoughts on this aren't completely clear yet, but it's a nice little tree house, actually. Um, it's not a full village. It's not a real village. It's not filled with life. The only life there is iron golems that you could exploit for iron, by enslaving villagers, or villagers to enslave and breed to your heart's content until um, some prodigy comes along that's selling mending for a price that you want. Um, and that's basically all you use them for. The only close to human life that you find in your world that should be there to sort of bring it alive a bit is just something that you enslave, you know? Not only is that pretty dark, but it's a bit sad, you know? There's no there's no chatting with them. And I know Minecraft is supposed to be a game that sort of like shies away from that a bit, but yeah, it seems like they have language, even if it's just like huh, oh, you know? Um, and enough language that we can trade with them somehow. So, uh, yeah, I don't know. Um, the early mods with villagers and stuff, it'd be like, hey, check out my wares. So like that RPG element, which I think really, really sort of helped Minecraft. You know, you go back to these old versions, or this server, which is kind of sticks everybody on that old version, and everybody makes these castles. You know, it's medieval feels so right in these versions, and I think we kind of lost that. People make those super blocky concrete modern structures, and it kind of just sucks the soul out of it. Just like cities sort of suck the soul out of a lot of what makes us human. I think we're happiest in kind of like a mixed environment. God, definitely gotten off track. So yeah, the villages, they're there, but they're not really life. They're like they're a weird version of it. And I don't think that helps. At the very least they should be far less common. So when you do come across it, it's like, yes, finally I found a village like it used to be. And then you wander around, you see if they had any loot, and it was like a pretty cool thing. And then there was the villagers there to you know mess about with or trade with and stuff. Um, and then it extends that early game for a little bit longer, where there are some things you've got to do, but it's slower and it yeah, feels nice. We need more of those forcing functions to slow players down a bit. Yeah, people can speedrun the game in like 3 minutes or something, not even. And I don't know. I think maybe we've got to make some changes. Um, so yeah, 2 lived in, but the lived in is empty. And another point I'd like to make is the progression of the game. Now this is something that I know a lot of people have touched on before. Huh, very tempting. But is that what I think it is? What's that monument in Washington? The Washington Monument Memorial? I can't remember, but it's a good one. And so the progression of the game, it kind of touched on it just there. It just needs slowing down, quite frankly. Like it happens. There's a lot to do, and it's mostly go collect. There's not much of an incentive to sort of make stuff on your own. Um, I think maybe a good way to facilitate this is make the nights scarier again. I'm currently playing on a private server, and it's got a set plugin pack thing that ups the mob rates. And even with full diamond, like it's a bit, you know, you gotta be careful. If you hit a zombie, I don't know if this is vanilla version, but there, every time you hit it, there's a like 50% chance another one spawns. So you can get like some hordes basically. And that's really cool, you know. Make zombies actually like a challenge. And the skeleton's even more scary because if they join in, then you're looking in a bad place, even if you're pretty set gear-wise. And they need to be darker. Now, you don't want to force it on people. You know, you could still turn it up with a bit of brightness, but it's missing that really, you know, oof. Um, pitch black outside. That I thought was really, really helpful for setting the mood early game, especially for new players. I kind of want new players to be scared again, you know? Now maybe they still are. Maybe the nights still are spooky. I It's been a while since I saw someone younger replay this game and play it at night, but it's like the best kids shows. The best kids shows, they have an element of like spookiness, bit of fear, bit of danger. And it makes it feel real because it feels like the world. The world is kind of that way. And so as a result, it makes, you know, you might say you want to avoid that because you want to provide a space for kids to, you know, it's magical and wonderful and bright, and they can make that light themselves, you know? And it's almost like a life lesson for them. It's just like, hey, yeah, like there's this spooky thing, just like it's spooky in the world, but it doesn't have to be this way. Because you can make that light. You can light up this valley. You can get loads of torches down in the mines with your friends, and then you can come up and you can make a really bright place to go and live in and build with your friends that's free of like the dangers that lurk in the darkness, you know? That's getting pretty metaphorical, but I think it drives home my point pretty well. You need a bit of fear, you know? More fear in Minecraft. That's that's what I'm rooting for. Um, yeah, dude. I'd say those are probably my two main points. Um, just extend progression out so that and scarier nights. So you're forced to make a little fortress. You're forced to make a home to hide away in when it gets dark. Um, I think we still need beds. Um, if you want to do stuff during the day, you really want to get a project done, you need to skip the night, quite frankly. I like the idea of it being a bit more hardcore and the game, forcing you to stay up so that, when you do go about building, whether it's you got to light stuff up and there's a few extra steps, or just the build that you're making, you secure an area first and then it's you're making a castle or something. Um, yeah, totally lost my train of thought. I'm just again, I'm ranting on. I'm ranting on. Make the night scarier. Slow down progression. Progression is kind of at a point that you never needed to do it, but people see it as like kind of the end all of the game. Once you've got good gear, people generally just their interest fizzles out. They're not really thinking about things that they could make anymore. They're just thinking about, okay, well, maybe I need more of that resource. And they're just making farms and they're copying stuff off YouTube and it's not really their own. I think the less people make stuff out of their just imaginations, the less it makes it feel like the world is theirs. I know there's people I play with that when they're making stuff, the stuff they make, they don't feel good about it because they've seen too many of those things on YouTube. Um, where someone just makes an absolutely insane build and it makes their stuff feel inadequate. And I totally understand that. I totally understand that. It's a bit of a mood killer because you're never gonna invest that time to make something like that, but you still want that end product because yeah, humans sort of compare. But then what they'll do is they'll collect all the resources and they'll just follow a schematic to make something that somebody else has already made, and probably loads of other people have already made, and it's just, oh, you didn't make anything original. You rehashed something. Um, yeah, where's the soul in that? Where's the heart in that? It wasn't something that had any semblance of you. It was just something that you laid down the bricks for. I think that's kind of sad. Um, yeah, buddy. What else? Loot. Loot. That's a big one. So just as far as quality of life, if anyone else is like me watching this video, you kind of hate, you're kind of gonna hate just reorganizing chests. I'm pretty, I'm pretty on top of it. Like I have to be. It really winds me up otherwise if my chests aren't like organized for the most part. Um, if you play with anyone that's like fairly disorganized, it's a bit of a nightmare. Hall of Tongues. Huh. Oh, cool. That's cool. It's like languages players speak. Wow, that's really neat. What a good idea. Um, and there's frankly, so in the game at the moment, there's far too many blocks. Far too many. Way too many. And not only does it mean like a complete lack of cohesion, um, it's it's frankly just done for like a specific subset of the player base, which is like builders. Um, how many people are genuinely using tough blocks, diorite, whatever that semi-browny beige one is, pinky. You know, especially all those mined ones, because what mining is just like a necessity in the game. Um, you fill up your inventory. It used to be just you've got your ore, you've got your cobblestone, and like that's it. Now a bit of variety is good. I like the new deep slate. You know, it's kind of like, especially the extra levels, it adds a whole new dynamic to mining. Um, and you can still like strip mine in deep slate and stuff like that. So yeah, it doesn't take away from just the core necessity of, like I need tools, I gotta get diamonds, let's do some strip mining. But that other stuff just it fills up your inventory and it's not you don't really want to use it. And you also don't want to throw it away because, once you got a 64 of anything, it's like, well, that's how long does it take to mine a block? And then that's what, like a few, maybe like 10 minutes worth of like mining? Like, shit. Well, I should probably keep that. What if I need to use it for something? What if I need to use it? It's kind of shitty. It's kind of like gravel. What if I want to make a path with it? And so then your inventory fills up with all this garbage, you know? Same goes for resources like copper. What is the use of copper? If I wanted to zoom in, I would just use Optifine or like a mod with Fabric. Um, the idea of like a proper like in-game zoom, pretty cool, but they could have done that with just glass and iron, or maybe just iron and the amethyst, you know? It really didn't need copper. Um, a block that changes color, but you're essentially building with like blocks of iron. It's it's a cool looking color, but like is it really worth an extra like couple slots of stuff that you don't really want to throw away, but and it's making you conflicted every time you open your inventory, you know? It's kind of sucks, man. Um, whether the answer to that is like more inventory space, I don't think they're ever gonna add backpacks. That would be a good fix, quite frankly. Um, rather than placing down a shulker every time or having one of those little satchel things, which I still haven't made yet. I haven't, I would get a shulker before I would get that. How often do you really like run into rabbits, you know? They could have just made those with like leather and string or rabbit and string. It could have been either. It's very unnecessary. They're not being very, I don't think Mojang's being very smart about like inventory space and how best to really add items into the game so that it doesn't just clutter your inventory. It's so bad now. Like look at this. And this is just in like a beta version. This is what I just sort of like pick up along the way. In the new version, it's ridiculous. Without a shulker, it's full of shit all the time, and I'm constantly doing inventory management, which is half the time I'm just looking at my inventory. That should not be the case. I should be playing the game. I should be looking at stuff. I should be having a good time. I should be building. It's not something I need to be just constantly on top of. It's boring as hell, really. Um, oh wow. Okay, let's give this a little bit of a read. It's a bit of Bible stuff, but there's some interesting stuff in that book, I reckon. So, uh, I want to murder people. That's my deal. Sewer Town, East Korea. Sewer Town in this server is absolutely wild. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of it. If I can actually get to the end of this tunnel. It's a pretty long way. But yeah, they've made like a whole underground city under the city, and it's mostly made up of tunnels like this, just with cobble. But I find it more impressive than the city itself. It's pretty insane. Let's check up here first, see what's going on. It's all signed and everything. Ooh. This was definitely a bit of a here we go. Bit of a wild goose. It's like an altar. Huh. Gotta figure out how to make some music so I can entertain you guys with more than just my plain old voice, you know. I have been told I've got a bit of a smooth voice, but how much that's true. I've listened to it back, it just sounds a bit whingy, I'm not gonna lie. Bit British, bit whingy, and that is what it is. I've put people to sleep with it before. Not like in a weird, you know, like hypnotism way or anything, just like a, you know, oh yeah, like just keep talking. I'm prone to ranting. I think that's what it is. I'll go off on something and then people will be like, oh yeah, keep talking about some bullshit. Uh, and that's more what puts them to sleep than anything really. Damn. I don't think there's no enchanting, so all of these ore blocks must have been shimmied here by redstone, I believe. Hmm, cool. Yeah, people have shops down here. Whoa. Look at this. Is that a rat? Hell yeah, dude. He's got some cheese. I think that's cheese. People are charging iron for cobble. I think I have a lot back home. Maybe I should do some of that, you know. Hmm. I think I might try boating. I think boats break quite easily on this game mode. Ooh. I think I'm going faster than walking, but I can I cannot tell for the life of me. Yeah, okay. It's not worth. Uh, yeah, let's go this way. I like the idea of building like a giant chasm just under the city. I think that'd be quite cool. I think that's generally my idea of cool in this game anyway, is just build like a really do a dig a really big hole and then people will just be like, wow. It's not particularly creative, but I like the idea of that in real life as well, just like a massive, you know, giant basement. You just hang out in there. Yeah. I think one of my ideals for a house would actually just be like a big warehouse, you know, Like it's okay if it gets cold. Like I'll just maybe I'll have like a little box for like a bathroom that's like warm and like a square box of like glass for a room that's pretty warm. And then maybe the two are joined together, but then just on the outside, everything's, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. It's windproof. Hopefully, it's got walls and rainproof. It's got a ceiling, but yeah, it doesn't have to be some, you know, crazy warm temperature or anything. Just you could have anything in there. You could have a sand pit. You could you could have like a big PC rig just in one corner. That'd be pretty sick. Like a really giant, very fluffy rug from one end to the other. What else? A trampoline? Trampoline would be sick. Sometimes I just want to jump, man. And probably like a scooter, a good space for scootering. The floor's like really nice, like polished, like shiny floor. Like you'd find in a school or something. I don't know what those are really made of, but yeah, very very shiny, and you just zoom around on it on a on a nice on a nice scooter. That'd be so good. Like when I need to think about stuff, there is almost nothing better than a bit of scootering, you know? I worked this one job at a school and it was one of my old schools and it was be like a summer job and sometimes you'd have a bit of free time because you get through so many jobs and sometimes you can't, do a specific room because it's like painting and stuff or you gotta wait a bit. Anyway, so like our waiting periods, we always had a little bit of a staff room, like in the basement of this place. And holy shit, dude, they had like a big basement. And you could zoom around. They had a bunch of leftover scooters. A bunch of the kids scooted to school, so some of them leave them behind and they, sort of get lost or and they get repurposed for the maintenance team, you know? And they spend most of their time in the basement, so like getting around it's these long stretching corridors. Some of the ceilings are kind of low, so it's a bit tricky if you're a tall person. Like I'm pretty tall, but man, it was the best thing. You could just zoom around everywhere, and the idea of doing that in a place that I live kind of just blows my mind. That it's entirely possible, you know? Wow, look at this place. It's it's quite impressive. What was he using this for? Hmm? Huh. God, that painting is really tempting to nab. They have a thing on this server that if you take anyone's stuff, they know. Like it sets off an alert or something. They got a plugin for it, so the guy can see what you took, and if it's like a shop and you didn't pay, then they're like, "You stealer," and you can get like a temporary ban. That might make it not people's like cup of tea, but there's a lot of trust on this server generally. Um, so if people are really like taking a lot, it like you will get flagged, and there should be some kind of punishment because otherwise people are just gonna set fire to all these like nice buildings. They don't have claims either, which I do like. It's kind of like in the old style. At the same time, it's a little bit feels a little bit risky to like make anything, invest time and stuff because you're just walking everywhere, so resources, it feels no enchantments, so diamonds for tools is a lot harder, a lot more time investment, and it's not protected at the same time. It's sort of like the thing that those priests, monks, up in the Himalayas do, where they make. I want to remember what they're called, but I can't. They make these big circular, beautiful like patterns and stuff together with like all these different powdered colors. And God, this is fucking cool. Or I might get demonetized now, but they make all these big, amazing pieces of art, and then once they're done, they'll work for like a week on it, and then once it's done, they'll blow it all away, sweep it up, and that's that, It's kind of like that. I suppose it's sort of like the equivalent of making it on like a not as bad as 2v2t, like a chaos anarchy server, but kind of there are some protections in place, just enough that it's, you can feel somewhat reassured. Here we go. I really like that gate hut. That's super. It's like compact and it's anything castly really. It sort of gets me going. I notice a lot of people make those kind of Viking roofs, but I think they're designed for snow. Gotta make it in a snow biome, brother. God, one of the best things about this server is, ooh, that's another good point for how to improve Minecraft as well is, um, you know what? I'm gonna do that. Oh, dude, come on now. What's this? Heavily damaged and unusable. Oh no, I want to check it out, you know? Um, yeah, let's go up here. Climb the waterfall. What was I saying? Ah, yeah. So, a good idea for maybe making the game a little bit, adding a bit of something to it is infrastructure. Infrastructure is great. And the earlier versions, especially when you couldn't run, what would you do? I need to get around quicker. Hello, Pebble. Minecarts. You know, minecarts are fantastic. They're so good. You know, it was sort of like, I don't know, it added this air of something about the game. Not only were people making, oh look, it's those things from June. Ornithopters. I really want the Lego version of one of those. They're very cool. Um, uh, that's not excellent. Um, yeah, it felt rugged, you know? It was like, oh, we'll make a train track that sort of like carves through the landscape, and like we'll make it so that it gives you like a nice scenic route. 'Cause it's still gonna go faster than walking anyway. So, and if you're waiting and you're sat there, you want to look at something pretty, you know? But now, you got you got bloody wings. When they first brought out elytras, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty heartbroken. I am I am definitely a big elytra fan. Using them is really fun. Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys something pretty cool here. If I can find a basement access point somewhere. I think it used to be there, but here it is. Sewer town. This is. Oh. Someone made some more. Someone made some more rat poems. Oh, someone moved my sign. Hell yeah. Mole Tavern. Someone made a bar near my restaurant as well. Spoilers, that's the surprise. Um, drank the sewer water and died. Um, it kind of Elytra just removed any necessity for other modes of transport, and you would just go by foot because you can swim really fast now, and if you've got enough food, you can sprint jump everywhere. You don't, you just do that. It's an easier option. Taming a horse, they're too clunky. They get caught in trees unless you make infrastructure for them, or you're just get in between bases. They're not really useful. Likewise, why are you gonna commit resources to here we are. Ozone and Ramkin's sewer restaurant. Very nice. Very nice. Let's go. Look at this. It's beautiful. Someone removed we had a little go-kart rink in the middle here. I think the boats despawned, but I think they count as entities. So. Oh, what should I put in there? I'll keep my arrows. Maybe a bit of... It's the only food. I don't know. I've got some... Oh, I'll give some bread. Give some bread. It's the least I can do. Maybe a go-kart for people that want to get around, you know. Minecarts. Why are you gonna dedicate resources to something that you're gonna stop using? You know, it's quite sad. It's like a nice little, ooh, let's take a minecart. Yeah, yeah, let's. And then you're kind of bored already because the standard's been set by zooming around with a firework and a elytra. You know, it killed it. It killed all the other modes of transport. And when you're not spending time walking through the landscape that you're supposed to be like sort of carving into your own, an image of your liking, you're just you're not gonna do anything there. And so you're not making anything, you're not filling up your world. Chances are it's just layer. It's just a whole bunch of you're gonna make a whole bunch of bases spread out in like different very wow, look at that. That's cool. A bunch of different, very specific locations that you were like, oh yeah, this is the most epic spot. This is the most epic spot. And that's cool and all. I like a good base. I like a good layer. But you don't end up with anything like this, you know? And everybody wants their unique spot. So they all go out searching and, the tools give them enough resources and it takes way less time to make something big. So people zoom out and they find their perfect spot and they make all their stuff and they make all the progress that is sort of really necessary at all. They get their elytra and then it turns the game into some form of like creative mode that's like occasionally held up by just lack of resources and then you make a farm for it and then you have infinite. You just gotta like wait a bit and it fucking it screws it up. It screws it up big time, I think. I don't know how to deal with the elytra problem. I think maybe make them a gliding tool again. At the same time, you're at the bottom of one of those huge caverns and you want to just fucking zoom on out of there with an elytra. That's pretty cool as well. I think I'm not a fan of nerfing stuff because, it's like too good, you know? Especially if it's something like this. I think maybe the best way to do it is buff the other stuff. New kind of rails. That would be a good one, I think. Um, it makes them worth making again. Maybe a new crafting recipe. Maybe instead of I guess the tracks are pretty thin. Does it have to be iron bars? Could it not be um sticks and nuggets? Um, yeah, I'm trying to think how that would work. Maybe instead of like six for 6 iron bars, it's gonna be like well, you get nine. Yeah, that could work. You get 9 nuggets from a single what do you call it? Bar. And so then for 3 bars, you do, three, iron nugs on the left, iron nugs on the left, stick in the middle. You could do like 3 sets of those. And then what would that be? Maybe you get less per one. So it's 3 per craft, if that makes sense. I think that could work. And then it's like more resource. Yeah, you have to craft a bit more, but it's like drastically cheaper. And then like a new kind of rail that makes it way better, or maybe a new minecart that's like more powered, you know. Make it easier to get villagers around, maybe. Um, transport mobs in that. Yeah, just ways to make the mobs more valid. Maybe you can pass through branches when you're on a horse. Maybe you take a bit of damage, but you can pass through them, so it's not. That made my heart drop a little. So it's not, you're just getting caught all the time. That sucks. It sucks big time. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to, as the sun's going down as well, it's very aesthetic. Hello, boys. I think I'm gonna have to end it for that. I'm getting really hungry, guys, but I enjoyed that. I probably ranted on way too much, and hopefully the recording has actually been successful. I might cry a little bit if it hasn't, because it's probably been about an hour. Um, yeah, might make some more of these if I can think of things to talk about and do in game. But that was yeah, that was good, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful day, or evening, or whatever time you're watching this. Just the most appropriate thing, most appropriate thing to say to you. I wish that upon you. Yeah, yeah. Love you guys, and thanks for watching.